if Trump gets to control the California National Guard, then that means he gets to control every single state's National Guard, which is now somehow legal, when before it was only the state governor that had control over their National Guard of that state. This is just showing more and more how many courts are just giving Trump unlimited power, and this shouldn't be happening. The only people the National Guard should be listening to is the governor of their state. The president should not have any control over any National Guard whatsoever. But an appeals court is still allowing Trump to keep control of the National Guard and using them to abuse people in LA.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Ashley. That breaking news is an appeals court decision allowing President Trump to remain in command of the National Guard troops in Los Angeles. You may recall last week a judge ruled the deployment was illegal and control was supposed to go back to the governor on Friday. But an appeals court stopped that order until a hearing this past Tuesday. In its ruling tonight, the judges disagreed with the state, saying the chaos on the streets of Los Angeles warrants the deployment of the Guard by the president. This case is expected to make it to the Supreme Court. What happened in LA was the first time the National Guard was deployed without a governor's permission since 1965.
Yeah, and they should still only be deployed with a governor's permission, not with the demand of a president. And they should not be used against civilian populations, which they're actually not allowed to, nor is the military allowed to be used against the civilians, nor are they allowed to enforce any kind of law in the United States. But what we're seeing is the Marines being used against civilians along with the National Guard.
State Attorney General Rob Bonta put out this statement that reads in part, quote, while it is disappointing that our temporary restraining order has been stayed pending the federal government's appeal, this case is far from over. Governor Newsom had this response, quote, the president is not a king and is not above the law. We will press forward with our challenge to President Trump's authoritarian use of U.S. military soldiers against citizens.
Any of these any of the National Guard members and Marines obeying any order are obeying illegal orders, and they all should be put in jail for following illegal orders. It is no different than Nazis being arrested and charged for obeying any orders. You can't just say, I'm just following orders, because it doesn't work that way. They all know they're committing crimes against civilians, but as it's being